Hi, so in this exercise we will learn how to animate the horse programmatically so that it goes back and forth like this. And you will also have an extra credit part to that, which is to make it start working on the click of the play button. And the second part of the exercise will be similar. You will have to animate the horse by pressing start and stop and play buttons. So if you press stop, the horse will stop, and if you press play, the horse will play. Now, all of those beautiful things are achieved with the if statements. So we're going to start with the first one. So let's go here, and you will have the file where the horse is simply off screen for the start. And to talk to the horse, we're gonna have the event listener. So whenever the movie starts to play, the tick event happens for the entering the keyframe. This is when the horse will animate horizontally, and we will break that sequence in 2 steps. We will make the horse go from left to right first, and then we will make it go from right to left. So the first thing we have to do is obviously to call that function, and I gave it a really long descriptive name. So in the interest of time, I will just go here and grab this function and add it here. So in between the brackets we will add the if statement, and the first if statement is gonna be we will basically have the horse reach the end of the screen, and then it will change its position to the original position and start the walk cycle again. So that's going to be the first and easy step, just to have us started with that. So we will add the statement, and in this statement we're talking about the horse's X position, the horizontal position, and we're saying if the horizontal position is greater than the width of the visible stage, the canvas, plus we need to give some space for the width of the horse. Now I gave it a little bit of extra space. I think the width of the horse is about 100, let's see, 314 pixels, but the key here is that it's actually the center of this movie clip is in the middle of the horse, so it's like 317 divided by 2 or something like that. So so we could say roughly 200. That's fine for now. And then we will say this .horse.x again. we also will have to add the movement to the horse. I should have mentioned that. But let's work on the if statement first. So we will say if the horse reaches the end of the stage, let's change its X position to let's see what's we will have to basically grab the current position of the horse, and it's minus 168.5. So could say that 68.5. Alright, and like I mentioned, we need to actually animate that horse. So to animate the horse, we will just move the horse incrementally in in 10 pixels, just to make it kind of smooth. So let's see, let's save this. So theoretically our horse should move in steps of 10 pixels, and once it reaches the width of the stage plus a little bit extra, because the horse itself has its own width, then it will relocate back to the original place. Alright, let's see how we're doing. And something happened. Let's see, is my internet still connected? Well, I guess my internet is not connected, so let me fix that. Alright, let's see what's going on here. So first things when something is not working is to find out what exactly is not working. So I'm just gonna comment out this line of code, and we know that this one is pretty straightforward. It might be actually because we didn't name the horse. Let's see if the horse has a name. Yes, it does. So the horse definitely has a name. Let's try it again. So in the current version, we just have to expect to see the horse moving, and it's not moving for some reason. And when things happen, let's go ahead and take a look at in the debug mode. Okay, missing bracket after the argument list, and it should tell me the name of the line, but because I have so few of them, I think I can probably figure it out. Oh, okay, so this is what happened. So I think I had a typo here. Alright. So we have closing brackets here, opening and closing here, so I think I fixed that little typo. Let's give it a try. So hopefully we should see the horse, and we're still not seeing the horse. Alright. And what is the matter this time? Well, that's oh, I see. Yeah, I still have a typo. Apparently I copied and pasted it twice. So okay, so now I fixed the typo at the beginning, and that should be working now. Okay, yes. So we have the horse. It walks up the stage and it keeps walking because I commented out my my code here, right? So let me put the comment back on. All right, let's save it. Let's test it. So in this case, we expect the horse to walk up the stage, relocate back to its original position, and keep walking. Okay, beautiful. So let's think about it. The horse is cycling in one direction right now. For the horse to cycle backwards, a couple of things need to happen. Well, obviously the reverse in direction, and also we need to flip the horse. So let's do this because right now the horse kind of gets off the stage, and it makes it hard to hard to see whether the code, the flipping of the horse, for example, whether it will be working or not, because if the horse is not visible, we can't determine that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this canvas width to something like half of that size. So we're gonna, I haven't flipped the horse yet, but basically instead of letting it go all the way to the end, it's gonna walk half of the way and then oh, interesting. So it's not, I think I might have forgotten to save it. Let's see. That sometimes happens. I think actually it might be working because we also have the width of the horse. So I'm gonna actually divide the canvas by 4, not by 2, just to make it a little more visible change. Let's see. Yeah, so now it hasn't reached the end yet, and it disappeared and relocated. That's great for our testing purposes, because next we're gonna actually flip the horse. And flip the horse. We will use this .horse.scale x, and it's actually optional to to use this .horse.scale y, because I think it should still work. I'm not gonna relocate the horse this time around. I'm just gonna flip it. Alright, so now it reaches half of the stage, and let's see, what did I miss here? Oh, I missed the minus sign. Yeah, it needs to be negative. Alright, let's try it again. So now it should hopefully flip. Okay, it flipped, but maybe a little too much. Alright, let's see. Let's comment out this. Okay, now it kind of looks normal. Alright, beautiful. So, but we don't want the horse to keep walking, right? We want the horse to walk backwards. Well, kind of looks like if we just tell it to move backwards here, it should work, right? So if I change plus to minus, it should go back and see what happens. And so the horse is walking. Alright. Well, it definitely, you know, not moving forward anymore. But why is it standing? That's the question. Well, it's standing because we have two opposite forces going on. This line of code is still working, right? We didn't tell it to stop working. So the animate reads this line 6, hey, the horse is moving forward. But if it's in the middle of the stage and, you know, the position gets flipped and we want the horse to go into the opposite direction. But right now we have two forces working against each other, forward, backward, forward, backward. And so because it's plus 10, minus 10, and basically, you know, those two forces kind of cancel each other out and the horse stands in one place. Now, if we change it to, let's say, 20, let's see what happens. Alright, so if we change it to 20, it's going to reach the middle of the stage. It's going to flip. And, okay, I'm trying to go back, but plus 10 is still pushing me forward. So we have this kind of jumpy movement. That's not exactly what we want. Alright, so how do we deal with that? We probably still want it as minus 10, but now the challenge is we need to cancel out this first part. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually add else statement here. So basically, it's only gonna move in left to right direction until it reaches this point, right? So let's take this, oops, let's take this entire line with the comment. Alright, and we're gonna put it inside the else statement. And let's test it out. Alright, so the horse is going, and it flipped, and it's still struggling. What's going on here? Okay. Well, to find out what's going on, let's go ahead and comment out this line. And I think what's gonna happen, it's probably gonna keep moving up the stage. Oh, actually, no. Surprisingly, it worked. So let's see why it worked. So in the first statement, if this stage that canvas width -4 plus 200, the horse basically flipped and nothing else happens, no movement happens. So the statement is true. Now, why did we have that weird effect in the first place? Because you see, like, the moment the horse moves backwards, it basically, the condition inside the brackets becomes not true anymore, and it starts to execute that else statement. So again, even though we did a pretty good job at stopping the horse, but we didn't achieve our goal yet, because once it starts moving in the opposite direction, then, you know, it falls outside of our defined range here, right? And it meets that opposite force the moment it moves from right to left. Alright, so what are we gonna do with this horse? Well, somehow, let's think logically about this. Somehow we have to cancel out this action that happens here. And the way to cancel it out is kind of similar to how we call it in the first place. In the first place, we called the event listener, which listens to what's happening on the timeline, entering the keyframes, or frames, right? And once once the movie plays, obviously it goes through the timeline automatically. Then the sticking event happens and the function has been called. So that add event listener, obviously, if we can add an event, we can also remove an event. Alright, let's try it out. Let's try removing that event. And to remove the event, let's actually create a different function. So right now we have a function called animate horse horizontally left to right. We're gonna create a similar function, but it's gonna be called something different from right to left, surprisingly. And I want to keep it the same case. Okay, from right to left. And then we will actually take this scaling event and moving event. And we don't need this line anymore because we're not doing it anymore. So we're gonna take this flipping of the horse and put it here, and we will tell the horse to go back, but we will also remove this event listener right here. And the way we remove it is by saying, well, this dot remove event listener. And of course I need to close it properly so that I don't get the arrows. Okay, well, let's hope it works. So what we expect to happen here is oh, and of course it's not gonna work because we didn't really call this function. So we have to call it when the horse obviously reaches this point. So we're gonna add the event listener. I'm just gonna copy it from here. Onto here. Alright, so basically when the horse reaches a certain point of the stage, we will call the event listener, and the actions that the event listener is going to take is it will remove the previous event listener, and it will flip the horse, and it will move the horse in the opposite direction. Let's hope that happens. Alright, it didn't quite happen yet, but sometimes internet is just slow. Alright, well, it actually did happen, right? So the horse flipped and it walked away, and it never returned. Alright, what are we gonna do about that? So, well, it's a lot of changes that we've made so far, right? At least we're making some progress. So let's go back and think a little bit more. So here we have the event listener that listens to, that gets activated when a certain condition is met. So what if we add the condition again? So what if we say, hey, if the horse again reaches a certain point on the stage, and I'll make a fake point so that we can see what actually happens to the horse. I'm not gonna send the horse all the way outside of the stage yet. So I'm gonna say, what am I gonna say? I'm gonna give it a little bit of space. Oh, I guess I copied the wrong line. It's I'm gonna put the bracket here right away. So instead of worrying about the width of the canvas, I'm just gonna say greater than 100. So basically it's somewhere, the beginning of the canvas is 0. So we're saying that if the horse's X is almost, it almost reached the left side of the canvas, then we will do something, and that something is actually going to be different from what I specified here. So we're going to remove these conditions, and we will have to do similar to what we've done before, which is else. What happens if it hasn't reached? If it hasn't reached that stage, the edge of the canvas, then, well, it will keep moving, right? So we will remove the event listeners, flip the horse, and keep it moving. But if it reaches a certain point, we'll do something else. What are we gonna do? Well, we'll think about it later. For now, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do something to test whether it's actually working. So I'm gonna say console log, and I'll show you what it is in a second. I'm gonna say almost there. Because it's inside the curly brackets, it's not gonna be read as a code, it's gonna be read as a regular text. So let's test it out. Let's see what happens. And to see whether it's working, I'm actually gonna open the console. I'm gonna go to more tools, developer tools, and here is the console. Console is not defined. So something bad happened. It could be just a typo of some kind. Let's see what happened here. Ah, I see. Well, first of all, I think I did make a mistake, because I think that sign should be the opposite, because the horse is moving backwards. It's not greater than, it's less than 100. So that's the first thing that went wrong here. And then, of course, I did make a typo. So it's N instead of L. So let's fix that and let's test it again. Alright, now let's open this console. Oh, sorry guys, I'll show it to you one more time. More tools, developer tools. This is where the console is, and because I was so slow, the slide has already executed. So I'm gonna replay it. So I'm starting from the beginning, so it keeps walking, it walks back, voila, it reached that point, 100 pixels, and you know, it's telling me yes, it worked. Alright, so as you can see, it added the line. I'm gonna do it one more time. Let's see if I can clear the console. Let me just, I have to play it and I have to clear it. So let's try it again. So it keeps walking, it walks back, and now it reached the point that I specified, and well, it, you know, threw that statement that I put in here. Alright, so but what do we actually like? I mean, the statement is fine, it tells us that the function is written correctly, but obviously we want something else here instead of the console log. So what we want is for the horse scale to change again, right? We want the horse to flip, and we want it to go back. We'll just do that simple thing, and we're gonna have to do something different, but I just want to keep it simple for now for the demo purposes. So we want the scale to be positive again, and we want the horse to go backwards. So Right, it keeps working, it walked back. Alright, and well, alright, so that's what I mean, like we have to fix something, but at least we know that we're almost there. So what we're gonna do here is probably call that event listener again, the one that we started with. And I'm just gonna copy it from here. And let's test it out. I might still need to tweak my logic here, but let's see what happens. So it moved back. Okay. Well, it's a progress, right? So we still need to make a few changes. So let's go back to the code. Okay, so what should have happened, right? It should have flipped, I think. And what we can do here, well, there are a couple of things we can do. We could flip the horse in our first statement, possibly. Or we could flip it here. Let's try that. I think it should be pretty close. We just need to fix a couple of things with the stage. Alright, well, maybe not so close. Okay, so what am I missing here? Let me look at my finished logic here. So the finished logic says that we need to remove event listener. That's what I think I was missing. Because we don't want the previous action to happen. So let's comment this out. So we need to remove we need to tell that event listener to stop. Alright. And then we'll probably need to add the event listener, right? Or we could just say, you know, keep moving like we did before. So let's, yeah, I think the previous logic was probably fine, so we could just move it backwards like this. So let's test it out. I'm still not there. So what am I missing now? Okay, so I think this logic is not in the right place, perhaps. So I think we may need to move it somewhere. So let me see what we've got. So when it's not meeting this condition, when it's the horse needs to move into the opposite direction, let's add the event listener that we already have in place. I'm gonna comment this out. It can get very confusing, especially if you are trying to talk and think at the same time, like I am. And it definitely takes a little bit of kind of thinking things through. So, okay, so that makes sense, because now until the horse reached that point, we are removing the event listener, right? I think we may need to still do something with flipping of the horse. Okay, so if it's okay, so I think what I got wrong was the greater than or less than. So I think the ultimate solution is to say if it's greater than a certain point. So let's think about it. If it's greater than almost the beginning of the canvas, then we don't want it to be moving from right to left anymore. We want it to flip, and we want it to go back. Otherwise, I think we need to change something here. Otherwise, we want the initial movement to happen. So let's see how confused am I. I'm very confused right now. Let's and I made some typos somewhere. Okay, so the logic now is, if until the horse's position reaches the left edge of the canvas, we're not calling, we're removing the previous action, right? So I think I'm just gonna copy this function because it's kind of getting a really long demo, and let's I don't want to troubleshoot my my code at this point, so let's test it out. Let's see, hopefully it fixed. Oh, I see. It's actually not my code. It's actually my internet that was not working. Sorry, guys. That sometimes makes things extra confusing when you have Wi-Fi issues. So if you're at home and you're wondering what's happening with my animate, well, that's what might be happening, right? Maybe you just lost the internet connection, and of course if that happens, then your code is not gonna work. Okay. Still no internet, but once it's connected, some magic should happen. So the horse is walking, it walked back, and when it reached the end, it walked back. So we just need to flip it at some point, right? So let's think about it. At least it's moving back and forth. That's the good news. So, but it needs to be flipped somewhere, and I think it needs to happen in the first function. So, so what I have here is the flip the horse statement. Because initially, remember, like the horse was already in the correct position, but after we flipped it, we have to flip it back. So that's what happened when we were writing the code. It was already pointing in the right direction. Then it reached the certain part of the stage, it flipped back, and now we have to flip it again so that it keeps moving. Alright, so that was a process. was lots of logical thinking and tweaking involved, but I think we're at the closing stage where all we have to do is basically change the width a little bit. So it's already correct on this side. Just have to change the number here. Let's save it. Let's test it again. And I think that should look pretty smooth at this point. Alright. So it flipped, it walked back. And you've got a free code for kind of cycling your walk cycle if you need to do that in opposite directions. Alright, so now your extra credit part for this part of the assignment is to make the play button functional. And you kind of have a prototype of that in exercise 12-2. So let's take a look at that exercise. I'm not gonna give you a free code for this one. What I'm gonna do though is just give you like a little bit of a guidance on how to get started. And you will see the familiar statements. You will see the familiar if statement. We actually have a movie clip called Sunrise. So when the movie first loads, we have the background that starts to play, and once it reaches frame number 3, it stops. So what happens here, it's just like a subtle effect. So this is the background, and it just goes, I think, here. So it basically, I think, stops somewhere here. Or you could change the number and make it go all the way. So it's kind of just a matter of taste here. Alright. And then what we need to do is to add some action to the button. So basically we need to add the event listener when the button is clicked. It's gonna call the function called stop horse, and of course it's for the stop button. For the play button it's gonna be a different function, right? So for the stop button we have horse's legs stopped, and I'm gonna uncomment it here so that it actually is been called. And what this function does the stop legs function that has been called after the button is clicked, is it's looking for one of the legs to reach a certain frame, just like with the background, right? You can decide when to stop the movie clip. So in this case, it reaches the frame number 14, and once that condition is met, we're gonna stop one of the legs. So let's save it. Let's test it out. Alright, so it plays. If I click stop, what I'm expecting to see is one of the legs stop, right? To stop another leg, well, we just need another if statement here. I'm gonna uncomment the one they already pre-made for you. And again, it's a different frame. How do you know which frame? You just go inside the movie clip, right? So I'm gonna do that right now in the interest of time. You should know how to navigate inside the movie clip by now. So let's click stop, and well, now both legs stopped. And I think you should get the logic from this point that you should stop the other two legs. And the play is obviously the opposite of stop. Alright, so that's extra credit number 2. I hope you have fun with that, and if you want to add something interactive to your projects, that's, you know, a great way to start learning the code. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but you know, once you figure out those templates at some point, like after you struggle for a while, like I did with this demo, you will figure it out. So if you need any help with your code for your final projects, please reach out. We can struggle together and figure it out. For the extra credit, it's your extra credit. Alright, I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing your extra credits and the final projects.